If you walked into the kitchen right now and asked your cat what they wanted for dinner, the answer, biologically speaking, would be surprisingly simple. Not grains, not vegetables, not sweet treats. Cats are built to eat meat, moisture, and very specific nutrients their bodies cannot produce on their own. In fact, a cat's metabolism is so specialized that feeding them the wrong diet over time can quietly contribute to problems like obesity, urinary issues, and kidney disease, some of the most common health challenges cats face today. Yet most cat owners are standing in the pet food aisle, staring at dozens of colorful bags and cans, wondering, is grain-free better? Is dry food okay? Do cats really need wet food? And can they safely eat any human foods? In this episode, we're going to break down the science of feline nutrition in simple, practical terms. You'll learn what cats actually need to thrive, how to choose better cat food, which human foods are safe to share, and which ones could seriously harm your pet. By the end of this episode, you'll have a clear blueprint for feeding your cat in a way that supports their natural biology. Welcome to Green Earth Essentials, where we explore natural health, holistic wellness, sustainable living, and the science behind how our everyday choices affect both our bodies and the world around us. I'm your host, Michelle Jackson, and today we're diving into the cat nutrition blueprint, how to choose the best cat food and feed your cat the way nature intended. To really understand what cats should eat today, it helps to look at where they came from. Our modern house cats are descended from the African wildcat, a small desert hunter that still lives in parts of Africa and the Middle East today. These wildcats survived in harsh, dry environments where food wasn't always guaranteed and water could be scarce. So nature designed them to be extremely efficient predators. Instead of grazing or foraging like many animals, wildcats hunt small prey, things like mice, birds, and insects. And those prey animals happen to contain a very specific nutritional profile that shaped the entire metabolism of the domestic cat. High levels of protein to support muscle and organ function, moderate fat for energy, very little carbohydrate, and a surprisingly large amount of moisture. In fact, a mouse, the kind of prey cats evolved eating, is roughly 70% water. That means wildcats historically got most of their hydration directly from the animals they hunted, not from drinking water separately. This helps explain something many cat owners notice. Cats don't drink very much water, and it's not necessarily a problem. It's simply how their bodies are wired. Here's a fascinating twist. Cats cannot taste sweetness. Their genome actually lacks the gene needed to detect sugar. That cupcake you left on the counter, biologically it means nothing to them. Meat, on the other hand, lights up their sensory system like a neon sign. Nature built them to stalk prey under moonlight, not snack on dessert. Understanding this quirky evolutionary fact really drives home why cats thrive on protein-rich diets and why sugars and carbohydrates play almost no role in their nutrition. Even though our house cats now sleep on couches and chase laser pointers instead of hunting, their biology is still wired for the same diet their wild ancestors depended on: high protein, moderate fat, and moisture rich meals. Knowing this evolutionary background helps explain many modern cat nutrition puzzles and sets the stage for understanding what your cat truly needs to thrive. Now that we understand how cats evolved as hunters, the next question becomes, what does their body actually require nutritionally? Cats are what scientists call obligate carnivores. That means their bodies are biologically designed to depend on nutrients found primarily in animal tissue. Unlike humans and even unlike dogs, cats have very limited flexibility in their metabolism. Their bodies expect a very specific nutritional blueprint. First, cats require high levels of animal protein. Protein provides essential amino acids that support muscle maintenance, organ health, immune function, and overall energy. In the wild, nearly every meal a cat eats would be rich in protein, so their metabolism is built to process it constantly. Second, cats rely on fat for energy. Healthy fats provide calories, help maintain skin and coat health, and support the absorption of certain vitamins. Fat is also one of the reasons prey animals are such an efficient food source for cats. One of the most important nutrients cats need is taurine, an amino acid that plays a critical role in heart health, vision, and nervous system function. Without enough taurine, cats can develop serious health problems over time. Cats also require vitamin A in its active form, which is naturally found in animal organs like liver. Many animals can convert plant-based compounds into vitamin A, but cats cannot do this efficiently. They must get it directly from animal sources. Another key nutrient is arachidonic acid, an essential fatty acid that supports inflammation regulation, skin health, and reproductive function. Like taurine and vitamin A, cats cannot easily produce this nutrient themselves. When you look at all of these requirements together, a clear pattern emerges. The feline body is built around nutrients that come from animal tissue. Unlike humans, cats simply don't have the metabolic tools to create many of these nutrients on their own. That's why diet quality matters so much for their long-term health. Feeding a cat isn't just about calories, it's about providing the very specific building blocks their biology depends on. One of the most important discoveries in feline nutrition happened relatively recently, and it completely changed the way cat food is made. Back in the 1970s, veterinarians began noticing something troubling. A growing number of cats were developing serious heart problems along with vision loss. At the time, no one fully understood why this was happening. Many of these cats were being fed commercial diets that on paper appeared nutritionally complete, but something important was missing. Researchers eventually discovered that these cats were suffering from a deficiency of an amino acid called taurine. Taurine plays a critical role in the body. It supports heart muscle function, helps maintain healthy vision, and contributes to the proper functioning of the nervous system. Without enough taurine, cats can develop a serious heart condition known as dilated cardiomyopathy, where the heart becomes enlarged and weakened, making it harder to pump blood effectively. Taurine deficiency can also lead to degeneration of the retina, which can cause permanent vision loss. What surprised researchers most was discovering that cats cannot produce enough taurine on their own. Many animals, including humans, can synthesize taurine from other amino acids in the body, but cats have a very limited ability to do this, which means they must get adequate taurine directly from their diet. Once scientists identified the problem, the solution became clear. Cat food manufacturers began supplementing their formulas with taurine to ensure that cats receive the amount their bodies require. Today, taurine is considered an essential nutrient in commercial cat food, and its discovery remains one of the most important breakthroughs in veterinary nutrition. It also reinforces something we've been talking about throughout this episode. Cats are biologically unique. Their bodies rely on very specific nutrients that must come from the right kinds of food. One of the biggest questions cat owners ask is whether wet food or dry food is better. If you've ever stood in the pet food aisle staring at shelves full of cans, pouches, and bags of kibble, you know how confusing this decision can feel. The truth is, both types of food have advantages and limitations. Understanding those differences can help you make better choices for your cat. Let's start with dry food, often called kibble. Dry food is extremely convenient. It's easy to store. It lasts a long time, and it can be left out for longer periods without spoiling. For busy households, that convenience is a big reason why kibble became so popular. However, dry food has a few important drawbacks. The biggest one is moisture. Most kibble contains only about 8 to 10% water. That's dramatically different from the natural prey animals cats evolved eating, which are roughly 70% water. Another consideration is carbohydrates, because kibble needs starch to hold its shape during manufacturing. Many dry foods contain higher levels of carbohydrates than cats would naturally consume in the wild. Now let's look at wet food. Wet food typically contains 70 to 80% moisture, which is much closer to the hydration level found in natural prey. This higher water content can help support urinary tract health and overall hydration, something that's especially important because cats tend to have a weak thirst drive. Wet food also contains fewer carbohydrates and a higher proportion of animal-based ingredients, which may better match a cat's natural dietary profile. Of course, wet food also has some practical downsides. It tends to be more expensive. It must be refrigerated after opening, and it can spoil more quickly if left out. So, which one is better? The answer isn't always black and white. Some cats thrive on wet food, some eat a combination of wet and dry, and others do well on carefully chosen dry diets. But one of the most important takeaways from feline nutrition research is this: moisture intake matters. Because cats evolved getting much of their water from food, diets that support hydration may play an important role in long-term health. Whether that comes from wet food, adding broth, or encouraging water consumption, helping cats stay hydrated is one of the simplest ways to support their well-being. Now that we've talked about what cats need nutritionally, the next challenge is figuring out how to choose a good food when you're standing in the pet store looking at dozens of options. Cat food packaging is designed to catch your attention with phrases like premium, natural, or gourmet. But those words are mostly marketing language. They don't necessarily tell you whether the food actually meets a cat's biological needs. So instead of focusing on the front of the package, it helps to flip the bag or can over and look at the ingredient list and nutrient information. A simple first step is to check the first ingredient. Ideally, you want to see a named animal protein such as chicken, turkey, salmon, or beef listed near the top. Because ingredients are listed by weight, the first few items usually make up the largest portion of the food. Next, look at the protein percentage on the guaranteed analysis panel. Since cats rely heavily on protein, foods with higher protein levels are generally more aligned with their natural dietary needs. It's also helpful to check whether the food is labeled as complete and balanced, meaning it contains the essential nutrients cats require for their life stage, whether that's kitten, adult, or senior. Another useful tip is to pay attention to the overall ingredient profile. A quality cat food will usually contain a combination of animal proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals designed to meet a cat's nutritional requirements. The key idea here is to look beyond the colorful branding and focus on what's actually inside the food. When you start reading labels with a cat's biology in mind, prioritizing protein, essential nutrients, and balanced formulation, it becomes much easier to separate helpful information from marketing claims. Even when cat owners have the best intentions, a few common feeding habits can quietly create problems over time. One of the most common is free feeding, which means leaving a bowl of food out all day for a cat to eat whenever they want. While this might seem convenient, it often leads to overeating, especially for indoor cats that don't burn as many calories as their outdoor hunting ancestors. Another issue is overfeeding indoor cats in general. Many house cats live comfortable, low activity lifestyles. If their calorie intake doesn't match their activity level, weight gain can happen slowly and almost invisibly over time. Treats can also become a hidden source of extra calories. A few small treats are perfectly fine, but when treats start replacing balanced meals or adding significant calories to the day, they can contribute to weight gain and nutritional imbalance. Another mistake some owners make is switching foods too quickly. Cats have sensitive digestive systems, and sudden changes in diet can cause stomach upset, vomiting, or diarrhea. A gradual transition over about a week, slowly mixing the new food with the old, usually allows a cat's digestive system to adjust more comfortably. Finally, it's important to remember that dog food is not an appropriate substitute for cat food. Dogs and cats have very different nutritional needs, and dog food typically doesn't contain enough of certain nutrients that cats require for long-term health. The good news is that these issues are fairly easy to prevent. Paying attention to portion sizes, limiting treats, and making dietary changes gradually can go a long way toward keeping a cat's digestion stable and supporting their overall health. Small adjustments in feeding habits can make a surprisingly big difference over the course of a cat's lifetime. Many cat owners enjoy sharing the occasional treat with their pets, and the good news is that some human foods can be safe for cats when offered in small amounts. Because cats are obligate carnivores, foods that come from animal sources tend to be the most appropriate. For example, plain cooked chicken can be a simple protein rich treat that many cats love. The same goes for turkey, as long as it's unseasoned and doesn't contain added salt, garlic, or onion. Cooked salmon can also be offered occasionally. It contains beneficial fats that support skin and coat health, but it should always be fully cooked and served in small portions. Another option is cooked eggs, which provide protein and nutrients. Scrambled or boiled eggs without oil, butter, or seasoning can make an occasional healthy snack. For cats that tolerate plant-based foods, plain pumpkin can sometimes be helpful for digestion because of its fiber content. A small spoonful of plain canned pumpkin, not pumpkin pie filling, can support digestive balance for some cats. Sardines packed in water are another popular treat. They're rich in protein and omega-3 fatty acids, but they should be offered sparingly because they can be quite calorie dense. The most important thing to remember is moderation. These foods should be viewed as occasional treats, not as replacements for a balanced cat diet. Commercial cat foods are formulated to provide all the nutrients cats require, so treats should only make up a small portion of their daily intake. It's also important to avoid seasoning. Many ingredients that are common in human cooking, like onions, garlic, and heavy salt, can be harmful to cats. When offered occasionally and prepared simply, a few carefully chosen human foods can be a fun and safe way to share a moment with your feline companion. While some human foods can be safe in moderation, there's a long list of foods that cats should never eat. Even small amounts can cause serious health problems, so it's important to keep these well out of reach. One of the most common hazards is onions and garlic. These foods damage a cat's red blood cells, leading to anemia. This isn't just a mild upset. Onions or garlic in any form, whether raw, cooked, or powdered, can be dangerous. Grapes and raisins are another risk. They can cause kidney failure in cats, and even a small amount may be toxic. It's not fully understood why these fruits affect cats in this way, but the risk is significant enough that they should always be avoided. Chocolate is widely known as dangerous for dogs, but it's toxic to cats too. Chocolate contains theobromine, which cats cannot metabolize effectively. It can cause vomiting, rapid heart rate, tremors, or even life-threatening symptoms. Alcohol should never be offered to cats. Even tiny amounts can lead to alcohol poisoning because a cat's liver metabolizes ethanol very slowly, causing central nervous system depression and other severe effects. Artificial sweeteners, particularly xylitol, are also highly toxic to cats. Xylitol can cause a dangerous drop in blood sugar and liver failure. So, foods like sugar free gum, candies, or baked goods must be kept far away. The takeaway is simple. Cats are curious and they may investigate anything you leave on the counter or table. Make sure these dangerous foods are stored securely and out of reach. Even well meaning sharing can have severe consequences. When in doubt, stick to foods that are specifically formulated for feline nutrition or small, safe treats, and you'll help your cat stay healthy for years to come. As we wrap up, let's bring everything together into a simple, practical approach for feeding your cat. A healthy feeding strategy should start with a balanced commercial diet that provides all the nutrients your cat needs, including protein, taurine, essential fatty acids, and vitamins. Choosing foods with high quality ingredients is key. Look for real meat as the primary ingredient and formulas labeled complete and balanced for your cat's life stage. Hydration is equally important. Cats naturally get a lot of their water from food, so incorporating wet food or ensuring access to fresh water can help support urinary tract and kidney health. Some cats even enjoy water fountains, which can encourage drinking. Portion control matters, especially for indoor cats. Overfeeding is one of the most common causes of weight gain and related health problems. Measuring meals and avoiding constant free feeding helps maintain a healthy weight and metabolism. Occasional healthy treats like small amounts of cooked chicken, salmon, or pumpkin can be offered in moderation. Treats should complement a balanced diet, not replace it. It's important to remember that every cat is unique. Observing your cat's energy, weight, coat condition, and overall behavior can give you valuable clues about how well their diet is meeting their needs. Adjust portions and food types accordingly. Finally, a gentle reminder. Our cats rely entirely on us to make their dietary choices. By understanding their biology and nutritional needs, we can make informed decisions that support their health and longevity. If you want more insights, tips, and holistic wellness guidance, you can follow me on Substack at substack.com/at Green Earth Essentials. Until next time, this is Michelle Jackson signing off.